What's going on, everybody? As you can see, my MTXL is dirty. Now, this truck has been sitting for almost a month now. About a month ago, I took this truck to New York, and I just beat the hell out of it. The park was a little wet, so it got muddy. Now, what we're going to talk about is on all my trucks, except for my Baja, all my trucks run Victory pipes, and they're all in raw form, except for the HPI, because I got a deal on it on eBay and they was already painted black. But either way. So, me personally, I prefer natural pipes or raw finish pipes. When they get hot, you get that awesome color in it. Don't get me wrong, I mean, chrome pipes and ceramic coated pipes look great, but I just personally like the raw finish. The problem with the raw finish is they require a lot of work. You always have to look after them. So, as you can see, now, it looks nice and pretty, but believe me, this pipe was horrifically covered in rust. I kind of loosened it and took it out. So I didn't do the other side. See underneath? It's all rusted. Now, I'm going to show you what I do to bring the finish back into these pipes to make them look nice. Now, if you want, you can go crazy and you can buff this thing again, and it would almost be a mirror finish. It would almost be, it would polish it. But again, I'm looking for that raw finish, so that way when it gets hot, you get that nice colorization in it. So we're gonna go down in the garage, and I'm gonna show you the steps that I take to get this thing nice and pretty. But before I do that, a little side note. As you can see, next to the MTXL is my 8T. Now, this is the RTR version, as you guys know, and I will say that this is without question probably my favorite RC right now. Again, I haven't used this in about a month. I haven't really used the T in about the same amount of time. It's been sitting idle. My Baja, same thing. This thing is my new favorite. I mean, I love this thing. I'm going to get a little more in-depth review about it, about my thoughts and opinions of it. But I will say I'm very, very impressed by this truck. From its setup out of the box, the things like that. Again, very happy, very impressed. But let's get down to the garage and I'll show you what I do with the pipe. All right, guys. We're down in the garage. So this is what I do. This is how I keep my my pipes looking good. Well, as good as can be, because it's when you have a raw pipe, they will rust easily. So this is what I do to prevent the rust, or help prevent the rust. It's not a permanent, it helps prevent it. And you can also remove the rust as well. So this is the steps that I take. So as you can see, it looks pretty good. It doesn't look bad. You can see what it used to look like. I mean, pretty awful. And this whole thing was just completely covered. So on all of my trucks, on especially my gas ones, and now with the addition of I'm back into nitro, in the nitro one, the 8T, I use silicone spray on everything. Now, a lot of people are like, why use silicone spray? Well, this is what I use by Liquid Wrench. The reason why I really like this is, number one, everyone's like, well, if you spray silicone spray, that's like spraying Armor All on it. It's not true. When this stuff dries, there's almost no sheen, and it's not slippery. It's not slick. It doesn't slip at all, so you don't have like an oily film. It dries perfectly dry. But the biggest benefit is, A, if you wash your vehicles a lot like I do, so I try to keep them looking good, except my MTXL. Number one, it helps waterproof. So after you spray your Simple Green down, wash it down, blow it off. Me personally, I use to clean my trucks, I use Simple Green. hose them off, and then a lot of people use compressed air. I would love to use compressed air, but unfortunately, I don't have compressed air at my house. So what I do is I use a leaf blower, my backpack leaf blower, and it works great. So not only am I blowing all the water off, the air that comes out of it is warm because, you know, it's being pushed by the engine, so you get like a warm air, so it helps dry even better. Once that's done, I spray the silicone on. Now, on certain areas, I'll kind of like wipe a little bit just so it's not built up. But this is, so basically, so to get rid of the rust, and all this other bullshit, I'll take a little bit of steel wool. Now, in this case, I'm just using the silicone spray just as a lubricant. So I'll spray it on. And basically, what you want to do is just wipe the rust away. Because it's only surface rust, it hasn't got into anything. Just get a rag. I said that was just a rough. You know, you can get into it more, you can really get on it. But as you can see, it does a pretty damn good job. So, and like I said, I mean, you can always have this sent out, have it ceramic coated, and you know that's a very good option. You can paint them. Like I said, the pipe of my Baja is painted. It doesn't look bad. I just honestly prefer the raw look. And everyone has their own taste, and there really is no right or wrong. Like I said, the only downside to having the raw pipe is there's a lot more efforts involved to keep it looking good, because obviously if you have a painted pipe or a ceramic coated pipe, you don't got to worry about rust. And that kind of helps take care of all the crap. And best of all is once this thing is fired up and heated up, you'll get a nice colorization in it again. So what I'll do is, before I install this back onto the truck, I will just give it just a light coating of silicone. I will not rub this off. I will basically just let that dry. And when it dries, again, it's not going to be shiny. It's not going to look oily. It's going to look perfectly natural. But the silicone will help, again, help the rust from building up as fast. Once the truck is run. So right now, when I store this and it sits in my garage, obviously there's moisture in my garage. If I didn't silicone it, it'll just start rusting from the air. But now that it's going to sit, it's going to be protected. Once this engine runs, the silicone is basically going to burn off, so it won't be protected anymore. But it definitely helps to prevent just nasty rust from building up. While we're on the subject and while we're down here, another thing that I wanted to talk about that didn't go anywhere is just for ha-has, I picked this up about a month ago, maybe a little more, a month and a half ago. Still in the box. Reason why I picked that up is I currently have, that's the radio that I use. I use a DX4S. That is the newer DX4S with all of the new Spectrum bullshit crap. Anyway, the reason why I picked this up, this radio is probably about 2 years old or so. It gets used a lot because I use it on all my trucks. I've been having a problem with the auxiliary one, and that is the kill switch for all of my trucks. It still shuts off when I turn the radio off, but for a while this wasn't working. Bought a new radio to replace it, and it's working all the time now, which is a good thing because I'm gonna do a comparison soon, and I have my likes and my dislikes about that radio. A lot more dislikes than likes. For the price, can't go wrong with it. But I have some complaints about it. But what are you gonna do for the price point? What's next? I guess that's about it. I mean, other than that, it just, I think the pipe looks good. It's raw finish, so we'll just let that sit down here and dry. Wipe off the top of my toolbox. My toolbox needs a serious clean. But work 60 plus hours a week and have time to clean your toolbox at home. It doesn't happen. Oh, another thing. So, this is what's left of my break-in fuel. Now, in case any of you are wondering what fuel I use to break my nitros in, as much as it pains me to say this, I use Traxxas Top Fuel. I know, it's like, but let me just say, number one, it's pretty decent 20% nitro. I wouldn't continuously run my nitros on that, which I don't. I use Byron's. I actually have Byron's 3011 coming. But the reason why I use the Top Fuel is it has a very high oil content. As you can see of the video that I put up of the 8T going, you can see how much smoke is pouring out of that truck. It's great for break-in, bad for performance, because that's going to cause foul glow plugs. It's going to cause just all sorts of headaches you don't want. Can you run continuously on Traxxas Top Fuel? Absolutely. People do it all the time. Would I want to run continuously on it? No. I don't. But for breaking in, I use Traxxas Top Fuel. That's just what I use. Another thing, for my arm's in the way, I apologize. For my gas trucks, I use, this is what I use for my gas trucks. VP Fuel, 94 octane, ethanol free. Very important, ethanol free. It is, obviously it's more expensive than standard pump gas, but the benefits outweigh it. Number one is, again, you're done with ethanol, which is great. So you're not going to have the freaking line just cracking. It's just nasty shit. I did notice that my engines run a little bit cooler on this versus 93 pump gas. Because unfortunately, living in Connecticut, I don't have access to Cam 2, which is awesome that you can just drive up to a gas station and get Cam 2, which is awesome. But here, I buy now. You can buy this in 5-gallon containers, or you buy it in quarts. I buy it in quarts. The reason why, Fuel stays fresher longer. You don't use as much of it. Other than that, that's really about it in a nutshell. Nothing else has really changed. I'll be doing a video soon on the 8. We'll go from there. But let's head back upstairs. And it's almost time for this guy to come out and start moving some snow, because it's getting to that time of year. As much as it pains me to say it, it is getting to that kind of year. God, I don't want the snow to come. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it. So we'll see you in the next video. Again, I'm going to try to be putting a lot more out. I want to do a comparison on that Spectrum DX5C versus the DX4S. My thoughts and comparisons on it. I want to give my take on the 8 RTR. Again, very, very happy to be back in Nitro. I miss this dearly. So happy to be doing it again. And this is by far, and it's actually crazy. Like, the first time actually having an 8. You can see clearly, clear as day, that this is where the 5T was born. I mean, just look at that front brace. Look at that front brace. If I can focus. Drag link and steering setup. Drag link and steering setup. I mean, chassis braces. Everything is derived. I mean, even the diff cases, shock towers. It's crazy. I mean, because this thing is amazing. I mean, it works great, drives great, handles great. So this thing handles even better because it's smaller, lighter, just corners on a dime. I'm not gonna get into depth about that. I'm gonna save that for a different video. I'm gonna talk more in depth about the 8T. And with that said, we'll see you guys in the next video. And maybe I'll give my MTXL a bath. I don't know. This is like the only truck that I don't let get clean. I kind of like seeing this guy dirty, because it's a dirty girl. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys. Bye.